All right, got good audio. Audio. Hope so.
Yeah, let's do audio check before we
again.
get into
the community members will let us know. Good morning, everybody. We've got some wild news that I can't believe it. You know, I'm going to start off with what's going on with the Air Force bases.
Let's start off with a
You
scripture.
want to do the scripture? Yeah, let's do the scripture.
So Mr. Claude, Mr. Al, always sends me a scripture and I love it. Proverbs 21, 5 and 6. The plans of the diligent lead surely to advantage, but everyone who is hasty comes surely to poverty. The acquisitions of treasures by a lying tongue is a fleeting vapor, the pursuit of death. You read over and over in Proverbs, it's always talking about, well, you're always seeking to be wise. It's always asking for wisdom. It's always, you quote that scripture all the time about how the diligent or the prudent seek.
Proverbs 27:12. Yeah, I talked about that yesterday.
I know. So make sure we have audio this time, and you guys.
But this is one that I wrote down real quick. Proverbs 17:24. A discerning man keeps wisdom in view, but a fool's eyes wander to the ends of the earth. These are all things that I've been convicted of, guys. I write them down. It helps me remember them. All right. I prayed for discernment this morning for everybody in the community and a whole slew of people that I pray for daily. And I desire to have wisdom and to be able to discern this news. And we'll start with the first news story. It's from Fairfield, California. The United States Air Force is investigating a company that has purchased $800 million worth of land near Travis Air Force Base, one of the most critical military bases in the United States. But after 8 months of investigation, the United States can't figure out who these people are. It gets way nuttier than this. So we've got an entity that we have no clue of who's involved buying massive amounts of land all over the United States. And this is a quote from John Garamendi, representative. He said, "It is so extensive. We are very, very concerned about this. There's and so secret, and it is impossible to get any information about what's happened here." He raised the alarm to the U.S. Air Force, and it prompted a federal investigation, and still has not been able to come up with who actually owns the land, or who's buying this land. Public records show, remember this, Flannery Associates LLC began purchasing land around the military base in 2018. The acquisitions ramped up in 2023. 3 sides of the base are totally controlled by Flannery Group. Is that nuts?
It is.
No one, including local, state, or federal officials, can seem to track down who is responsible. Who are these people? Where did they get the money? And how could they pay 5 to 10 times what the land is worth? They're saying last year, 300 acres of farmland was purchased near Minot Air Force Base, Minot, in North Dakota.
Yep.
They're calling it a spy base. Who knows? We don't know who owns it. This is a quote. "The base is where we launched our airplanes to figure out what's going on across the world. A company in China was acquiring land around the base and wanted to build a 400-foot silo so they could look directly into the base. We've heard scheme after scheme. Check this out. The people that bought the land said, we're going to build a deep water port." The base is 10 miles from the coast, from the bay. And then they said, no, wait a minute, we're going to farm it. I said, well, if that's the case, you're going to lose a lot of money. It's nutty. The attorney representing Flannery says no foreign groups are involved, and we don't have to tell you our plans.
Yep.
So I pretty much paraphrase that because I could care less what some lawyer says. But Flannery Associates has also acquired land around interstates, electrical grid systems, from the Columbia River into Central California, including land that houses wind turbines to provide electricity. To get this really takes the cake. 10 landowners are being sued by Flannery, accused of being engaged in an illegal scheme to prevent the company from buying their land. This all flows right into what the UN actually wants. All of it. They want all the land. They want total control. So,
well, you guys, we've been talking about this for a while now, of all the different China companies that are coming in to the United States. And we've talked about in Michigan, we've talked about North Dakota, we've talked about so many different areas, California, where they're coming in. And ironically, they're buying up around electrical grids, Air Force bases or military bases. And they're paying way overpriced. And the ones we were talking about in Michigan, where they can't even disclose how much they're paying, the landowners can't disclose anything about the terms. I mean, that's what they're doing.
It puts me in mind of the Chinese nationals that have been caught at the border to the tune of 10,000 since the first of this year. Just the ones that have been
that we know of.
That are getting there, that takes $40,000 to $60,000 to get them here.
Yep.
How does a poor Chinese migrant come up with $60,000?
You guys also, if you follow us on Twitter, you'll know that I've been putting what's been going on with some of our companies. Our companies, it's amazing.
Well, hang on. Let me talk about that just for a second.
Go ahead.
So there's a lot of people that don't get on Twitter. If you want, you can put in the comments your email, and Stacey will email you the stories. She does a newsletter. Been doing it twice a week.
About twice a week.
Precious metals prices, premiums are going way down. Like they're steadily coming down, and there's going to be some deals. So you'll get that, and you'll get all these links. She's making hyperlinks. She's making it really nice. So just put your email address in the comments, or you can text it to that number up there. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, because a lot of times people don't like Twitter, and I get it. And it's a lot sometimes to weed through, but I do. All these articles I post on Twitter. But I told Chris the other day, I found this article about all the companies that have been created in the United States. And we're an amazing country. That's just what kills me. We have some of the greatest people, and we've done all these innovations, and but then we sell out. It's like I was shocked at even England. England owns a lot of our companies, but China, if you go through and all of them that they own, and I put this in the description or in the Twitter, where it shows that even Burger King was created by us in the United States. Canada owns it now. So all of these companies, it's a list of over 40, I think, that really surprised me, of all these major companies, GE, all these companies that we created in the United States and we no longer own.
Corporate greed.
Yep.
Hey, give me on a scale of 1 to 10, how are these mics doing? Because I have been struggling with audio. I hate videos with bad audio. Yeah, it's corporate greed. But wait, there's more. More people. There's a bunch. There's like 20 something of them.
Oh no, there's over 40. It's over 40. Yeah. So
I knew there was more. I just didn't know it was an article.
It just
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's is one of American Apparel. I mean, it even was 7-Eleven.
Wow.
Dallas, Texas. When it tells the stories, you guys get on this article. It's really interesting. It said he was just an average guy. He was working. He created this 7-Eleven. Everyone knows 7-Eleven. They sold out, and now Japan, England, China. I was surprised at the different people,
Thank you, Semper Fi,
that own all of our country, that own all of our companies now. Sunglass Hut. You guys, you can go through it. Holiday Inn. That is like a tradition everywhere you go in the United States. You see a Holiday Inn. It actually is owned by England now. We don't even own that company. You just go on down Smithfield, which we already knew that. Hong Kong, China owns that. But anyway, we can just go. Forbes. I didn't realize Forbes was owned by China. That's an American country. American company. Did not realize that was owned by China also, Forbes is. So
you don't have to go through all of it.
No, I'm not, but it's just you guys, I'll put it in the description, but you guys go through and you see how many of our companies have actually sold out and are owned by the different countries. All right, we'll go to next.
Okay, well, the rapper Ice Cube, he's probably a community member. He might not know it yet. And when I talk about the vaccine, I'm not talking down to anybody. Well, a lot of people were forced to do it,
Yep.
including our soldiers, including the paramedics. My family members, a lot of them took it. Nothing. Hey, that's what you did, what you had to do. There is some hesitancy now that people are starting to have some trouble. It's pretty much mainstream now. I saw a poll that was done on it wasn't a real conservative channel, and it was like 80% of the people regretted it, and most everybody has this vaccine hesitancy now. But Ice Cube told Tucker Carlson that he refused it. He got mocked for doing it, but he said it was because it wasn't ready. He did not feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I never want to be controlled. So that's a good reason to be part of the community. It was 6 months, kind of a rush job. I didn't feel safe. And he noted that the government and Big Pharma would face no repercussions if they were wrong. And they didn't have to take it either. Remember all that? He said he was attacked, mocked, and he didn't want people to even know if he got it or not. Yep. And I know a lot of people like that, and I wasn't like that. I was just making noise about the whole time. They like to kick me off the channel, the tubes over it. But I just thought it was cool that Ice Cube, he didn't do it. He stood up.
Well, he actually lost a $9 million role over that. Right. And I think the big takeaway when I was reading the story, because it was funny. If you guys look at the interview with Tucker Carlson, they actually got in the car and they drove around and they show some of an interview and they're driving and they're talking. And the big thing is he didn't even want it to be disclosed. And he was actually kind of a little upset that it actually came out, his decision to take or not take. It was the fact of his decision. And I think to me, that's the biggest takeaway. I was having lunch yesterday with some friends, and that's the biggest takeaway from all of this stuff that's happened lately. It's your choice. It's your decision. If you choose to do it, that's up to you. But if you choose not to, I should not look down on you. Or if you decide to, I should not look down on you. That is your choice. And I think throughout, it seems like this last 2 or 3 years, it has just become, people have just become ugly, like so in your face that if you choose not to, or you choose to, either way, it's just, people have just become ugly about it. So it was an interesting interview. I enjoyed listening to him talk to Tucker Carlson. It was an interesting interview. All right, when you go to the next one. So I was also talking about, while we're talking about people in the highlight and whatever's going on in the world, did you guys see what happened with Hunter Biden yesterday? Oh my goodness. So he thought his plea deal was going to go through. And the reason I bring this up is I know it's kind of in the news right now and it's probably over talked about, but he just thought he could get away with anything. And when they walked in, I guess they said, no, you're not just going to get to just take this plea deal and be exonerated from everything else that you've ever done. And so he immediately said, all right, I guess, well, I'm not going to take the plea deal. I'm not pleading guilty. And if you notice when he walks out, they had the mic sitting there. They were planning a presentation. He was going to give a speech, and none of that happened. So you guys, I posted on Twitter, I said, grab your popcorn, because I think this is just about to get interesting because more stuff is coming up about that. So
I wonder if they're going to do anything. Is he going to be?
I don't know.
There's more so much evidence. The laptop. Okay, that should have been enough to bury him. Done. And he's really a useless eater. To be honest with you, he's a nobody that just happens to be the bonehead's son. So I guess he can just skip through life doing whatever he wants to do with underage prostitutes and drugs and everything else. I'll be curious because, Hillary Clinton comes to mind. All the heinous stuff she's done. Is she ever held accountable for anything? We've got these elderly people that are in charge, these politicians. I'm so glad I wasn't in politics.
I don't know about a marriage.
Well, no, I mean, can you imagine walking into that thinking, and maybe some of them did think they were, going to change things and make things better. Most of them probably didn't, but some of them, maybe they wanted to, some of the conservatives, and they get pulled in and manipulated and really twisted up and stuff that they maybe can't even get out of now, and then they just sell their soul to the devil.
I think there's a few. I really do. When you look back at some of the ones I've listened to, I think when they first start out, I think some of them really do have a heart in the right place. But can you imagine being in that kind of environment? Well, I used to live up there, and that is one twisted place in DC. There's so many backdoor deals and all that kind of stuff. And Chris and I were watching that video, if you guys have watched it, with Mitchell McConnell, where he literally for 18 seconds just stares blank at the camera. He's another politician that it's sad. They actually said, "Mitch, do you have anything else to say?" And they gently let him off. But it was sad watching him. He needs to retire. But he's another one, you guys. He's married to a Chinese national. I mean,
Cocaine Mitch.
so-
I think we would be shocked if we knew the people that were on drugs in the White House. They're finding it in the lawn. It's probably falling out of Hunter's backpack, but you know.
I saw an article the other day. They said your DNA is on everything, but very conveniently, the DNA was not on the cocaine in the White House. So anyway, all right, what do you want to go to the next one? Oh, speaking of all the politicians and all that kind of stuff, DeSantis. So you guys, the Republican candidacy is like all these people are piling in. It's going to be very interesting. The first debate, I cannot wait. I think it's being held by Fox. I can't remember. It's coming up really soon. DeSantis couldn't even make it to the first debate, and he's already had to lay off more than a third of his campaign staff because he's losing money. And he hasn't even made it to the first debate yet. So we'll see how that turns out. But it gets expensive, you guys, these campaigning, and that is a lot of money that goes into it. All right.
So in Oakley, California, this was sent to me by Miss Patty. She, and that's not a real name. I'm not going to divulge anybody's real name, but this man lost his insurance and didn't know why. Later, found out that drone photos taken over his property showed hazards in his yard. Whoa, wait a minute. So these insurance companies
took drones and put over his property.
Maybe. He felt intruded, and there's no way they're going to reinstate his policy. Apparently, they have some pictures and noticed some clutter. And he agreed. He said, hey, they haven't obviously seen my... If they came out here, they'd... it's an EPA nightmare. There's 7.3 diesels all over the place, and, we're burning used motor oil to heat the shop, or,
I call it Chris's Taylor. Oh, is it Taylor Home Depot out there?
Yeah, Taylor Home Depot out there. But I use it all. We actually build nice things out of scrap a lot of times. A lot of times scrap. I build the nicest things out of it and actually make a lot of money on it. But anyway, no one ever came to inspect the man's backyard, and it didn't matter. He even said he was rebuilding a 1966 Chevy. It's one of those kind of hands-on kind of guys. But they can terminate your insurance policy.
They can.
According to what you have in your backyard.
They can.
It's nuts.
Yep.
And I guess it's the insurance doing their due diligence, right? But where does that stop? Are they can just look down and see anything you're doing. If you got a phone in your pocket or you're using one, which I'm sure everybody is, they know where you're at. They know what you're saying. If you're on TikTok, they know your keystrokes. The CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, knows everything you're doing on your phone. Look at the, not the description, disclaimer on TikTok, and you'll see you're signing all of your rights away. And most people just go to the end and hit, I agree, I want an app, and they go. But it is a Chinese data mining app that is infiltrating the United States. Period. Full stop. Go ahead.
No, I don't know. Where does it become where it's okay to draw that line on that? Because it's become more and more invasive all the time. We've talked to you guys all the time about this when it comes to banks, when it comes to all kinds of businesses, when it comes to your rights and different things. Well, on a backlash of that kind of stuff, talking about different things that's happening, the Bud Light, they have lost 25% of their business. They are now not the number one Bud Light or beer drinker in the world.
Permanent loss.
A permanent loss.
More than that at first.
Yeah, they did. So they're actually having to lay off people now. They're having to lay off at least 2%, which isn't a lot, but they're not that big of a company when you look at their overall. And they are saying they're having to slash workforce, the companies to lay off, so they're going to be permanent, and they have lost some money. So they have taken a beating. And you know what? Good for America and good for everyone standing up and giving back to them. Speaking of another thing, when it comes to businesses and all that kind of stuff, we've been talking about bankruptcies and businesses, and you guys look what just happened. They were obviously the Federal Reserve has done another hike. Which, speaking of that, it has also raised gold and silver prices. I'll give you guys real quick sip before I go into the next story. Silver right now is running around $25.23. Gold is running $1,977.40. We spiked just a little bit yesterday after they made that announcement, but you guys, we have some incredible premiums right now. Eagles are $6.99 over spot. That is the lowest I've seen Eagles, and I can't tell you when. And you've got the Buffaloes. I've got several rounds that are only $3.25 over. So I have a great price list here, you guys. If you're interested in being on this email, text me on that number right up there, 318-564, and I will put you on my email list so that you can always see. There is no hidden fees. I don't charge any. It is strictly a premium and a spot. And then if you're in some state, of course, some taxes, but hopefully not. But I want to hit on another story real quick when it comes to businesses. So when we were going through the whole, you know what, in the last 2 years, the healthcare industry got lots of handouts from the government. I mean, lots. I don't even know the number. I think it was like 700 billion or something crazy that they got. Well, that has stopped, and they are getting hit hard. They're burned out. A lot of the staff, they're exhausted. They've been overworked. They're underpaid, they said, and bankruptcies are hitting them hard. They said healthcare bankruptcies have spiked tremendously already this year. They're saying the healthcare sector was propped up from the pandemic that happened. The federal government gave so much grants and so much handouts to them to help with the different things. It was the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, and they said they are filing Chapter 11 left and right. So you guys tell me what you know if you're in the medical field. Are you seeing this? And also, I'm seeing a lack of staff in the medical field. And so you guys let us know what you're seeing out there.
Somebody said the camera's fuzzy.
Oh, our audio and camera has been screwed up lately. We're gonna have to. I told Chris we're gonna have to work on it lately. I think the devil's trying to attack us.
The tubes. There's nothing I can do about it. We got full Wi-Fi. We got new mics. What could it possibly be? Can you see it now? Can't see the number. The number is 318-564-5823. If somebody wants to.
Oh, Bud said so. Oh, Bud. So text me then, Bud. What can we do to help that? Oh, and here comes Jose. Maybe we can get him to say hi. Text me. What are we doing to fix this then? Looks good to me.
Audio and video's fine. Okay.
So also one more thing on the gold thing. I thought this was really interesting. Millennials are investing in more gold than boomers. And if you look at the numbers of millennials,
That's interesting. I got an idea about that. Go ahead.
So they have really stepped up. I mean, like 18% or something. It's crazy how much the millennials, and I've even started, so I started thinking that when I was doing this article, because I'm watching the news all the time, and I started kind of going back to my orders, and it kind of is that age group that, because you guys call and a lot of times you tell me kind of how old you guys are and your story and your history and all that. And millennials and right above millennials are a big portion of the buyers. So anyway, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. What's your take on that?
That kind of makes sense. I want to talk about two things.
Okay.
The millennials are starting to catch on a little bit faster than the people that have this recency bias. You know, a lot of boomers have this recency bias. You know, we've been using this money for so long. They've been hearing this since 1971. Currency's collapsing. Y'all hear it all the time. Yeah. What's gold now? What's silver? Yeah, sure. It's like, well, it's doing pretty good. I mean, it's holding its own. You know, they are suppressing it. So that makes sense to me. The younger generation, hey, you know, this thing's going down the drain.
Good morning, Jose. Come say
Jose?
Hi. Come say hi, Jose.
And on the silver prices, I think Miles Franklin, back when silver was flying off the shelves, might have bought quite a bit, because silver's trying to take a little hike right now. I've been watching it on the charts, and it looks like it's even about to go up. It might come down a little bit first, but then we got this. It looks like we're fixing to break out. I could be wrong, but the reason they're cutting the premiums is because they might be holding on to quite a bit of it, because I know people are starting to feel it. Things have slowed down everywhere, including precious metals. Just discretionary spending for sure.
Oh yeah, you go to the store. You're gonna come say hello. Good morning, Jose.
Come on, Jose.
Say, Jose's gonna hang out with us
Come on
today.
in here.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
We're gonna have a full house today. His dad's coming. My parents are coming.
We got lots of work to do. I got a welder coming over. He's breaking out welding, and I'm going to put him on some pipe and just try to make a video on the welding channel. I have neglected the welding channel.
I want to hit on one more story too.
Go ahead.
All right. So if you guys notice that BRICS, of course, is having their, I've been saying this all for a couple months now, they're having their, but if you guys have been following the news, you know that Putin has an arrest warrant actually out for him in Africa. So that one of the African presidents went and they said, hey, Putin, please don't show up. So Putin is saying, fine, I'm not going to show up. Well, he's hosting his second now summit. This is the second time he's done this. I think there's 32 different representatives from Africa, that are going to be arriving. Yesterday they arrived. They're going to be meeting today and tomorrow. And they came out and said, and the Russian's foreign ministry spokesperson, Maria, said one of their key things is they're going to be working with Africa leaders to weaken the US dollar. So you guys, this is just over and over that this has become I don't know how fast it can happen, but this just is becoming every time I turn around, I'm seeing another meeting, another couple countries that are getting together that are saying, and their agenda, there's other agendas that they're working on, but their main agenda is weakening the US dollar.
It makes complete sense. Even Janet Yellen said, we're encouraging people to get another currency by putting sanctions on them. And as NATO essentially goes to war with BRICS, every day it gets worse. Why would anybody that's involved with BRICS want to use the American dollar? Oh. That is our export. We export dollars that we print out of thin air. That's the privilege that we have from being the world reserve currency. And now, what is that going to look like in a couple of years? As these things get worse, and these other countries have been piling gold like 4x. They've quadrupled their gold holdings almost. It just makes complete sense. It's like so obvious. And the people that are paying attention to mainstream media, and they have heard this gold thing since 71, they're not, okay, whatever, gold's going to go up one. Yes. But guys, Bitcoin is probably it's going to blow people's mind what Bitcoin does. And especially when Bitcoin runs, those little small ones will really take a rip too. XRP, XLM, I'm not the authority on that. It does make sense to me to make transactions for cents, half a cent or whatever it costs. It's so much faster than the SWIFT system is broken. So, we're getting close to that with all the war and all this stuff going on.
We get a super chat.
Volatile times are.
I click on it.
We sure do. I missed it.
Oh, there it is.
Thanks and prayers. Thank you. I've really enjoyed my prayer time in the morning. It's really changing my life. I'd encourage everybody to do it and just kind of pour your heart out to God. It does something. I desire to hear God's voice. Never heard an audible voice. Asked my grandfather about that the other day.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I said, I want to hear God's voice. I want to hear.
What did he say?
All these prophets on YouTube. You get on YouTube and you hear a prophecy every day. It's like, okay, what's going on? And I'm not one to get up here and say, God told me this and God told me. I want to hear it for sure. I'm a lot like Peter. And he told me, and I respect him, everything he says is pretty dead on.
Yeah.
He said, you're going to hear God through reading his word. It's living word. So
he talks about that a lot, the living word. And he said he never understood the living word until he said it was literally the Bible that was sitting there of a man he knows that actually convicted the man, and he tells the story in a couple of videos that you did.
Let me know what you think about all these prophecies. I think some of them could possibly. I think some of them are true. You take John Paul Jackson, you take Kim Clement, people like that died, 10 or more years ago. That a lot of things they said, they pretty much nailed it. But that's something I'm noticing, that you don't really get to see your prophecies fulfilled, from what I can tell. Now,
real quick,
there's going to be false prophets. We already know that. So just let me know what you think.
While we're speaking, it's changing the subject real quick, but you guys, silver just took a hit. When I quoted you guys a few minutes ago, it was 25.23. It just went down to 24.83. So I had to figure out what's going on. It just took a hit. So there you go. So you guys, I'll be working today. So give us a call.
I missed that trade. Yeah, give us a call. And if you're interested, I know it seems like I'm trying to sell courses, Johnny Bravo's course and Simplistic Chart Joe's course. Guys, those guys have got it going on. I'm just telling you, it's amazing to watch them map it out. Okay, it's going to come down to here, and it does. And then it goes up, and they tell you how to kind of deal with it, because I don't want to see people holding the bag. I'm sick and tired of being the bag holder. I want to know how. I will figure it out. And I'm going to nail this thing. I'm working on it as hard as I can. That's a lot of the reason why I haven't been in the comments lately. And I've even got behind on my emails. As emails pick up and the comments pick up, forgive me on that. I used to try to get back to every single one of them, and I will do that eventually. But I just don't want people to lose the wealth they have created, they have acquired through these stocks that have been on a rip. It's never been like that before in history. There's never been a time in history where all you had to do was work a little job and put your money in something, and then you can be rich later. That's not how things have worked. The market used to go through cycles, and now it's just boom, boom, boom. And when this thing pulls back, I don't know if it's going to be 14%, 30%. Worst case scenarios, about 86, 87% puts us back to the Great Depression. If you look at the chart, the 10-year yield, that's the tell-all. That's, recession, recession, recession. And we were like this far from the last recession. By the time they start calling it a recession, we will effectively be in a depression. And I can talk about the pawn shop and the people that have been telling me, hey, man, something's not right. It's never been this slow. I said, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. It's slow. We got a lot of manipulation coming. Why not? This is probably the best time in history to learn how to trade charts was probably 20 years ago. So this could be the second best time if you don't already know how. Because you can literally see a double top on the S&P 500. You can see it trying to do exactly what it did the last time. Go back to the Great Depression. Look at the chart. Look at the Roaring 20s, which I've been calling this the Roaring 2020s, because it has been that. So I'm looking for a massive pullback in everything, including precious metals. We just don't know. We don't know, but I think it could be where it's unobtainium. It's Mike Maloney. It could be where you have trouble getting it, and when things look really bad and war comes around, like we've been talking about, we've never been so close to World War III in my lifetime. Precious metals has done a lot of good during those times, including getting the Jewish people out of Germany, including feeding the people in Venezuela. They were shaving off gold. A silver would feed a family of 3 for, I can't remember how long. It performs in volatile environments. That's why we got into it. That's why we started holding it. And as I created a relationship with Andy Scheckman, we met at a few get-togethers. I had him on the channel, and I started selling precious metals through Miles Franklin. But if you want, please get 3 bids. If you want some, get 3 bids. Make Stacey the last call. That number, it's got a glare on it, 564-5823. But just try to get the best deal. That's all I'm saying.
Everything we're involved in, you guys, we believe in. We actually own. We participate in. It's not like we're for real estate, investment properties, precious metals, land, doing a garden, all that kind of stuff, you guys. We're not on here saying just do it. We're actually actively doing it. Everything we say, we're actively participating in.
But
And
I
go
got to
ahead.
put a caveat in there. Not all the miners I talk about.
We've lost some on that.
Well, no, but I don't buy all of them.
No,
I
but
couldn't.
we're
I'm talking about
involved
too
in the
many.
space.
Oh, yeah. I still think they're going to pop. That's why I always say, do your due diligence.
Yeah.
Check it out for yourself.
I
Go
guess-
to the company. Don't take their word for it. You know, I try to say that.
I guess what I'm saying is a lot of times you'll hear people on YouTube channels, and we've been there, where they talk about something when they really are not actively involved in it. And everything we talk about, pretty much for almost, we are actively involved
Oh,
at
yeah,
some
I can't
point.
sell anything that I don't believe in. I
So
just can't. It's not in me. I don't have that salesman
and
personality.
somebody just also put in the comments, they said, watch commercial real estate. And you guys, we've been talking about that also. We just did an article, we just did a thing the other day about all the defaults on the loans that are happening right now when it comes to commercial real estate, and they have arms. And oh, you guys, I'm just talking to so many people, and they're doing HELOCs. Do them if you want them, but you guys, that is just because your house is worth 400,000 right now and it was worth 200,000 before, and now you go get a HELOC, I still cannot get away from the billboards that I keep seeing with these HELOCs. You want to go to college, get a HELOC. You want to have a wedding, get a HELOC. You want to have a nice renovate your bathroom, get a HELOC. Those are arms, you guys. And when the interest rate goes up, which they just raised the interest rate, so that's going to be a trickle down effect for us. HELOCs, if you can, we've done one. But guess what? In 2 months, I had that thing paid off. We had it paid off. We did not let it sit there. And I knew going into it, I knew what I was getting into, and I had a plan. I just didn't get a HELOC and just plan on letting it sit there. It was for buying some land, and I knew within 2 months I would have that money to turn around and pay that back. I had a plan. I didn't just go get it to like have a vacation. I know people
That
that
is
literally
crazy to
take
me.
loans to do vacations. I love my
Put it on a
parents,
credit card.
but they actually used to do that. My parents would go get a line of credit because they were broke. They were poor growing up.
Home equity line of credit.
Yeah, home
HELOC.
equity. Yeah, HELOC. Sorry, home equity line of credit. So basically, you've got equity in your home, and you borrow against that.
Yeah. So what's going on is these people like in Austin, Texas, where they bought a house for $400,000 or $500,000 and now it's worth $1 million. They'll take out a line of credit on that, which is an arm, which means after, I don't know if it's a 3 or 5 year.
Oh no, it's only a couple months.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
So that's adjustable in a couple months.
Yes, it can change that fast.
So
depending on your terms.
And they put these honeypots out there. Oh, this is better, and you can do this. And then all of a sudden, the houses, the prices of the house fall. They owe this much, and their equity's down here. That's what we're starting to see. We're starting to see interest rates go up and house prices start to cool off and come down a little bit. As people lose their jobs, as people have real trouble. So this is going to make the problem way worse. And I'm sure the Fed's going to come in and do something stupid, like a 40-year-old mortgage.
If you can afford it,
40-year
that's
mortgage.
one thing. But a lot of these, it just sounds too
Afford
good to
what?
be HELOC. It just sounds too good to be true.
If you could afford it, why would you ever get a HELOC?
Well, so I read the other day, I read an article the other day, and I was doing some research on that, and they could not refinance their home because the interest rate could go up, and they couldn't refinance it because what they had going on, I guess, with their particular, it was a whole study that was done. So they were getting HELOCs, all these people were, and I just see bad things coming from that. It looks pretty now, but in 6 months, that's going to be nasty. So
I think, like I said before, I said it yesterday, I think the end of September is going to look nutty. November, if it doesn't, it will really blow my mind. My timing's awful though, so take that with a grain of salt. But it really looks like we're really starting to get there. It's just so slow. It's like a slow motion train wreck.
yeah,
It's like you can't.
you can see what's coming though.
You can't. Guys, Side Hustle Bud's in here. Side Hustle Survivalist. The man is excellent at making money. Check his channel out. Look him up in the comments. Just click his picture and it'll take you over there. And probably Jesse from the Shielded Preppers in here. He's got some great content as well. He loves to talk about God and the Bible. And this is the community. This is people that are like-minded, getting together and keeping each other abreast on what's going on, which puts me in mind of the Red Pill in Iowa. That's in about 2 weeks now, a little over 2 weeks. You're going to learn a lot of stuff there. There's an affiliate link in the description. I'm not trying to sell them. I just like to see you. I'll be there. I'm not sure who all is going to be there. I know Ninja Nation, a lot of the Ninja Nation people are going to be at the Silver Symposium. There's a link there too. It's in Vegas. It's September 30 weekend. Mm-hmm. That's another place we can meet up. And every time I've gone somewhere like that, I always make a friend that I'll never forget, that I actually have something to do with. Like sometimes you meet people, but as soon as you meet that person, it's a resignation, and you're looking in their eyes, you're shaking their hand, and something happens, and we're going to be friends for a long time. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have an awesome day. And
we got a busy day.
But it's going to be an awesome day. It's blessings. Work, blessings. It's fun to work. It's fun to grit, grind, and go, and it's fun to learn.
Yes.
I enjoy that, and sometimes I overdo it. But anyway.
When he dives in, he dives in.
Have an awesome day, guys. Later.